You realize that an agreement can be signed among four of the members. That is, somebody can be cut off. Not everyone. They cannot be cut off because they invited you here. The mayor cannot be cut off because they hosted, but you can be cut off. What you see behind me is one of the groups, and what they're doing now is this is the middle in the early planning session. What they're trying to do is see if they understand the same role the same way. So they exchange views about the goals, about the means, about the priorities, about the preferences, and from this process they try to come up with one single strategy that they will implement in the negotiation that will start in earnest next week. What I'm going to do, I'm going through all the groups that are dealing with the early planning, and I am being the devil's advocate. I ask them questions. I would like to see if they understood the meaning, the symbolism of the instructions that they received. If they understand not only the text, the dry instruction that they receive, but especially the context. Not only the lines that they have in front of them, but between the lines, if they can see the little nuances, the little emphasis that I've sprayed around there in order to really understand the responsibility on their hands. So now I'm going to hop in between all the groups and ask them those questions. Having this, on the same blackboard, to see it together in one perspective is very, very beneficial. Good idea. No, I believe you. But you should be ready for the occasion that your assumption about allies would be totally the opposite, right? You have to think in various dimensions. So do you think you have natural allies here?
Yeah, that's what we were actually talking about, because one of the key things is that we talked about like how there had to be 4 out of 5 parties that agree on something, but some parties have more say in the matter than others.
True.
In terms of what their position is. So people usually at a lower position tend to become allies.
Get into the head of the other roles as well. What do they want? What are their priorities and preferences, and how can you help them, and how can they help you? And most of negotiation is on the symbolic, psychological level. If you are able to convey impression rather than actual reality, you are up for a good start. But make sure that you know and anticipate what the impression of others might be. Every move that you make, try to see how others might perceive of this and what their reaction may be.
And we don't have a hostile. We're not hostile towards any of these.
No, we have that
moderation.
This is
going for us.
So what you're doing now, you're doing rationalization of the process, but many parts of the negotiation are not so rational. So take it under consideration and always expect the unexpected. There are teams or roles that are relatively more expendable and they can be cut. The thing is, whether this is the regular situation or are these dynamic situations, and when the negotiation proceeds, other groups becomes more vulnerable to be cut off. This is what you have to look forward to predict what kind of changes, shifting circumstances would make certain groups more vulnerable than others. And those who are more vulnerable, of course, will have more desire to have allies as soon as possible. Don't rule out actors that you might think no chance of finding common ground with them. Look deeper. Remember the tree of interest that we dealt with? Look down to the roots. There might be some common ground you may find with the most surprising actors. All right? Creativity. Be creative.
What is the end goal of the Environmental League?
To get us to basically never build, because they want to protect the entire
Well,
environment.
why don't they want to build?
Because they want the beaches and all the little fish and all the animals and the little plants that live there to stay there.
Come on, like think big picture. Why?
That is the big
What's
picture.
the big picture is they want an environment that's better than how they left it, how they found it. They want to leave the environment better than how they
So that
found it.
means no point.
Not necessarily. If that's the end goal, then everything in between doesn't matter as long as we reach it within a reasonable time frame. So, with that being said, what can we do to do whatever the hell we want building the thing, but also aid in their goal of restoring the environment?
It says in like one of the last pages, it says that in the license request, DW